What was your school's biggest scandal? Undergrad here. One of my professor, which pre-recorded his classes, because of COVID, forgot to stop the screen recording and proceeded to watch 3 hours of porn of everything you can imagine. Unknowingly, he uploaded the video on his homepage as he did for any other classes. Let's say he had some mandatory long-term vacations. When I was in 6th grade, an anonymous person sent some people, including me, an email that we were all invited to partake in a secret mission. We were told to keep this a secret, that we couldn't tell anyone. This person claimed they were a college student in Australia. Being 6th graders, we told everyone. Word got around to the principal and eventually the emails stopped. To this day I'm still confused. There was a suicide pact with approximately 20 students. Unfortunately, a lot of students actually went through with it. It will forever be nicknamed Suicide High. The principal caught 2 kids fornicating on top of the vending machines in the middle of the cafeteria, while it was crowded during breakfast. She had to fight through a crowd of cheering students to see what was going on. A nursing student whose parents donated money to build the health building plus all the technology in at a university decided to make some extra money even though she was already rich, and being a nursing major was hard work. She decided to go on the internet and buy all the answers keys textbooks and scan and upload them and sell each exam key to her fellow classmates in her year and some to the lower freshmen. The university found out and allowed her to retake her class the following semester. Her classmates were kicked out of the nursing program and couldn't get any placements or enroll in another university. All the hospitals in the state blackballed all the nursing students from the university and from medical businesses. Same university, another nursing student had D's in all her classes. Rules of university: nursing students must have a 3.0 or higher to stay in the program. The nursing was so horrible that no one would take her at observations, and when the university told her she no longer was qualified to be a nursing student or a student at the university unless she managed to drastically bring her grades up. She had a semester to make this happen to show progress. She didn't do it cause she said she didn't need to, and filed a discrimination lawsuit because of her race. The lawsuit said she had to graduate and have a recommendation. They caved into the lawsuit and let her graduate because they didn't want to pay anything. My old high school. Graduated 3 years ago. My school had a huge drug problem, and the source they were getting weed from had been laced with fentanyl. Had a period of time for like 2 months where kids were roading in the bathrooms nearly every other day. 2 teachers were put on trial for having sexual relations with students. One ended up marrying the student after she graduated, but it wasn't until years after that she was caught. The other one is much more recent and I've heard it through the grapevine. Probably 1/3 of the staff population had multiple DUIs. Apparently we had a bomb threat, but literally nothing was done about it and they kept classes going as normal. Turned out to be fake by some random kid in a different country, but still. Not very much a scandal, but there were large fights constantly. Saw a girl get curb stomped on my first week of school. Is it bad that I sometimes miss that place? My friends who didn't attend the school tend to make fun of it relentlessly. I stayed out of that stuff because I hung out with a different crowd, but I got to know a lot of the more troubled students as well. And it's a school in a lower income area with a lot of students who've had a rough go at life. The theater, music and art programs at the school were amazing, that gave a lot of students powerful outlet. Edit, forgot about the kids doing cocaine in the bathroom at prom. Walked in there and noped out. Held it in for the rest of the night. One was embezzlement. The other time the school refused to let a girl go to some camp because she had Asperger's. Eventually they allowed it after her case got on newspaper, but she left that school anyways. Man, I fucking hated my school. I just remembered we also had a missing pregnant girl who was actually murdered by her boyfriend and stuck in a compost bin at her own home, and somehow it took police way longer than it should have to find her body. If I recall correctly, the boyfriend's grandpa was washing dishes in the kitchen and kept staring at the compost bin with a weird feeling. He goes to check it and finds her body. I grew up in a small town with one high school, so this was definitely the talk of the town. Teacher was caught with child porn on his computer. A few teachers decided they would investigate the extent of his porn collection, and would spend hours on his computer checking his internet history, etc. They would actually cancel classes so they could work on their investigation. When the court case came around, the teachers proudly presented the evidence they had collected off his computer, but they had spent so much time rearranging folders, reopening websites, etc., that all the evidence had to be discarded. There was basically no way of knowing which sites/pics the actual pedo had used and which the teachers investigating had put on. Case was thrown out and he moved overseas and continues teaching. In high school we had a student call in a fake bomb threat to avoid a test. Of course he was caught and expelled. Several of his friends tried to start a petition to have him reinstated, but nobody signed it. This was right after Columbine. In middle school we had a teacher who was always considered creepy. A few years after I graduated he was caught with child pornography. I would have been surprised if he didn't possess kiddie porn. I'm reasonably sure my 5th grade teacher was having an affair with the Italian janitor. I came into class early and he was singing a romantic Italian song to her. When I was in HS, a guy was serving temporary detention in the head security guy's office, who was the son of one of the vice principals, and for some reason was left unattended for a time. Naturally he decided to rifle through the security guard's desk and found pictures of him, his dad, and a couple other guys on a hunting trip, and the security guy was posing buck naked over a dead buck. Logical next step: make thousands of photocopies and paper the school with them, of course. Mercifully they were all black and white, but the point got across. Huge stink was raised and the security was fired, unfortunately not the VP though. The guy was a complete jackass. I don't think the student was punished very much. He continued to attend school as far as I know. Really bizarre. We had a kid shoot and kill one sheriff's deputy and almost killed another one with a World War II M1 Garand. Then he got on MySpace and told everyone goodbye and blew his brains out. This was at his home, not at school, but it was a big deal. I'll tell you what happened. This guy called Gaha caught 2 boys making out in the bathroom. Man spreads the word in the school but claims he didn't know who it was. I do the same because I'm Gaha's friend and I know he ain't lying. How do I know he ain't lying? Because he caught me. So at the beginning of a new year in middle school, we had a new digital tech teacher. He was quite old and looked like a madman. And he reeked of cigarettes. Obviously, we all knew something was off about him but didn't think much of it. However, a few months later, he made a huge mistake. He projected his computer screen onto the whiteboard for a presentation, and forgot to turn it off afterwards. Quite hilariously, he went to his personal Gmail account, still on display for the whole class to see. He then replied to one person's email, saying something like, "Hey, come and meet me this weekend. I've got the cocaine you asked for." He then got up to use the bathroom and noticed that the projector was still on. However, the whole class pretended not to have seen anything, and he seemed relieved as he quickly turned off the projector. Unfortunately for him, it was too late. As soon as he left to use the bathroom, we reported this to the school office and a staff member rushed to our classroom. He actually arrived before our teacher came back and inspected his emails to confirm if this was true. Sure enough, when the teacher, a hemp drug dealer, returned, the school official, looking pretty pissed, yelled out, "You're fired." The teacher, realizing we exposed him, was in so much shock that he just picked up his bags and left, but not before shouting back, "Just wait and see, I'm suing this school." After that we never heard from him again. Our school had a dress code. Some female students did not follow the dress code. They did not have to change clothes whatsoever. Nobody got outraged, but I surely did on the inside. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.